I dive deep into the journey of sacrifice and see if I can turn my struggles into success through this powerful motivational speech. There's a harsh reality that we all need to face when it comes to achieving our goals and reaching success. It requires sacrifice. We can't just magically wake up one day and expect to be successful without putting in the effort and making sacrifices along the way. Unfortunately, this is a concept that many of us struggle to accept, and that's what I want to talk about today. One of the biggest misconceptions we often have is that success is easy. We see successful people on social media, and we think they just woke up one day and became overnight sensations. We don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the endless cups of coffee, and the sacrificed relationships. We just see the glamour and the glory, and we think that's all there is to it, but that's just not true. The reality is that every successful person has a story of sacrifice and hardship behind their success. They've had to give up things that are important to them, like time with their loved ones, their favorite hobbies, or even their own well-being. They've had to put their goals above all else, and that's what sets them apart from everyone else. And I think that's what we need to understand. Success doesn't come cheap. It requires us to put in the work, to make the sacrifices, and to push ourselves to the limit. We also often think that success is only for a select few. We think that only certain people are destined for greatness, and the rest of us are just meant to be mediocre. But that's simply not true. Success is available to anyone who is willing to put in the effort and make the necessary sacrifices. It's not reserved for the elite or the privileged. It's available to anyone who is willing to fight for it. Let's take a look at some examples of successful individuals who made significant sacrifices to get where they are today. Take Thomas Edison, for instance. He spent years working tirelessly to invent the light bulb, facing failure after failure and sacrificing his own well-being in the process. But he didn't give up. He kept pushing forward, driven by his passion and his vision, until he finally achieved his goal. Or take J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. She was a single mother living on welfare when she started writing her book. She would often have to take her daughter to a local cafe so she could write while her daughter slept. She sacrificed her own comfort, her own security, and even her own identity to pursue her dream. And look where she is today, a global phenomenon with a legacy that will last for generations to come. Or take Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison fighting for his country's freedom. He sacrificed his own life, his own family, and his own freedom for the sake of his country. But in the end, his sacrifice paid off, and he became the first Black president of South Africa. One of the most pivotal moments in any of these stories is the moment when the sacrifice finally pays off. It's the moment when all the hard work, all the late nights, and all the early mornings finally come together to create something truly remarkable. It's the moment when you realize that everything you've been through, everything you've sacrificed, has been worth it. For Thomas Edison, it was the moment when the light bulb finally lit up for J.K. Rowling. It was the moment when her book became a bestseller. And for Nelson Mandela, it was the moment when he walked out of prison a free man, ready to take on the presidency of his country. These are the moments that make all the sacrifice worth it. So what does this mean for us? It means that we need to start taking our goals seriously. We need to start making sacrifices and putting in the effort required to achieve success. It means that we need to stop making excuses and start taking action. We need to realize that success is not just a destination, it's a journey, and it requires us to make sacrifices along the way. So I want to leave you with a challenge today. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your goals? What are you willing to give up in order to succeed? Take some time to reflect on that and see what changes you can make in your life to start moving closer to your goals. Thanks for watching. And if you have a story of sacrifice that has led to success, please share it with me in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more motivational content, and let's continue to push ourselves to be better versions of ourselves.